Please welcome to the stage Global Customer Growth and Innovation Evangelist at Salesforce, Tiffany Bova.
Morning, everybody. Well, good morning, everybody. I know it's been a couple of hours. You guys have been so wonderful sitting out there clapping and enjoying everything that's going on. For me, I love this event because I got to drive here today. Normally I fly, but you know, I don't know. I could have flown to a lot of places on how long it took me to get down the 405 this morning. So, you know, I feel like I've been up all day and it's only, 10 o'clock. But welcome, as was mentioned by Tony. My name is Tiffany Bova. I am the Global Growth and Innovation Evangelist at Salesforce. I spend all of my time really in front of customers around the globe, some of you in the audience. So let me first start by saying thank you to all the Salesforce customers in the audience. As well, thank you to Accenture for the great program and products that they've built, as well as Medallia for having me. But we are in this really unique time. In my prior role, I was a research fellow at Gartner for about a decade before I joined Salesforce. And one of the things that my team came up with was the fact that the CMOs were going to spend more money than the CIOs, if you remember that statistic many years ago. And it set off this flurry of acquisitions that happened in the market. The second thing we did was we started talking about the fact that experience was going to become the product. That we were no longer going to try to be product-led or customer-led, but really thinking about becoming experience-led. And that has changed dramatically the way in which companies strategize about how they're going to go to market, how they're going to engage with their customers, and what they're going to do to ensure growth is something that stays on their horizon. So this presentation has been built around some of the things that I've learned over the last 2 years. What's been fantastic is I've been inspired every day by the customers and how they're using technology in new and innovative ways to drive change not only for themselves, but more importantly, to make sure that their customers are successful with whatever they're doing with the things that you're selling. So this is all about this customer imperative, this customer experience imperative, and what does it mean to you, and why is it important? The first thing I'd say is it's all about disruption. Now, people will say, disruption as it relates to technology? Sure. I mean, I think we could not sit here today and say that we don't feel this massive amount of disruption that's been happening in the market from a technology standpoint, no doubt. But I actually believe that the most disruptive thing in the market today is not technology. I actually believe it's the customer. Because of all the things that are going on in their journey, because of all the things that they expect in their consumer lives, as well as in their business lives. We as consumers cannot leave that hat at the door when we show up for work. And so our expectations are this new blend between sort of B2C and B2B to kind of B to E, kind of B to everything, and B to the experience. Because I think you would be hard-pressed to think that you leave your consumer expectation at home when you try to do something from a business standpoint. So this disruption for me is all about the customer. The second thing I'd say, as you heard earlier today, is that the new Battleground is really this experience lever. The companies are starting to talk about experience. If any of you have noticed over the last 6 months or so, when you watch television commercials, how much it's now about the experience. Car commercials. What are all the things you can do in the car? How wired is it? How many ports does it have? Does it have Wi-Fi? Does it have Alexa in it? Can it autonomously take you to Starbucks? Whatever. I'm not kidding. At the end of the day, brands are really starting to talk about the experience that people and customers will have with their company and no longer talking just about the products that they sell. So this new Battleground has created, everyone's trying to say, who does a really good job? And do you think we can grow if we pivot towards customer experience? Many of you who are in the trenches every day will go, I know it's important because our customers think it's important. But then what happens is your executives, will it give me an ROI? Will I get a return on this investment of pivoting towards customer experience? How do I measure it? How do I manage it? And so when I get asked that question, I just sort of show these examples. The first one being Tony from Zappos. For all of you who know, Zappos has something called the University of Wow. So if you're ever looking to go figure out how to change your call center, the University of Wow is a great place to go. You can take your entire team. It's similar to what Disney has done around experience for decades. But what's interesting about this is that customer service there is all about customer success. They sell shoes. So do lots of other people. So what makes them so unique? When they hire people, they go through a rigorous 6-week training. At the end of that training, they offer the person a $2,500 check. And they say, thank you. Thank you for going through our 6-week training. Thank you for your time. But you can take this $2,500 and you can leave. No worries. We've appreciated everything you've done while you've been here. Or you can give us back the check and you can stay and be an employee. Why do you think they do that? Why do you think they do that? Because they want people who are there who aren't there for just the paycheck. That they understand the mission and the DNA of the company. That it's all about this experience that you can deliver from a company that sells something that other people sell. So how do we make ourselves different? The second is Steve Jobs. Now, I don't need you to be way in front of the puck on this and say, I know that somebody's going to want something 5 years from now, like an iPod or an iPhone or an iPad. I just need you to think about designing the things you're selling from the customer's lens and working backwards. Many people will say, it's our product. It's the shiny thing in the corner. But really, it's about what the customers actually do with your product or how they feel when they use your product or how they feel when they engage with your brand. That's the point of this one. The next one would be Jeff Bezos. Now, you can say they've sort of created this wave of what people now expect from a consumer brand. So how many of you have purchased from Amazon in the last 30 days? And so I remember when there wasn't that many hands that went up. So how many of you went through Amazon's training on how to buy online? Don't raise your hand, it's a trick question. You didn't. It's intuitive, it's easy. Not only that, it recommends to you. Do you know that in the middle 30% range, sort of 35, 36% of the revenue generated from Amazon.com comes from recommendations, comes from machine learning, comes from artificial intelligence, comes from all of the things that you tell them as consumers. And they use it in a very unique way to give you very unique experiences. Is it always perfect? No. Will they make it right? I've been on the phone on hold with an Alexa Echo support person for hours. No problem. Similar to what Tony does at Zappos. Obviously, I work at Salesforce. We are clearly focused on customer success and the experience that people have not only with our product, but with our brand. And we have since day one felt that our greatest sales force, 2 words, is our customers advocating on our behalf. Which for any of you who have ever attended Dreamforce, you would completely understand what I mean by that. It is 130,000 people advocating on our behalf, talking about how they use the technology, how it has empowered their people to be better at the moment of truth when they're either conducting commerce or engaging with a customer in support or sales. But the last one I wanted to describe is Ford. They're now saying they will build a self-driving business that prioritizes the people experience over the technology experience. What a big statement. Goes back to what I was saying to you. That example of Starbucks, Ford, and Amazon is a real example. Soon at 2 o'clock, my Ford could say to me, hey, every day at 2 o'clock you have a chai latte. It's about 2 o'clock, Tiffany. You ready for that chai latte? As a matter of fact, I am. Great, there's one 2 blocks away. Would you like me to drive you there? Soon that can happen, but right now it'll give me directions. And then takes me to Starbucks, go through the drive-thru. Guess what I don't need anymore? I don't need cash. I don't need my Starbucks card. I don't even need my Starbucks app. Why? Because my wallet is now my car. That happens today. So pivoting towards this experience, if you were sitting in the car having that experience, who's delivering it to you? Is Ford delivering it to you? Is Amazon delivering it to you? Is Starbucks delivering it to you? Do you care? Or do you just want your latte? You just want your latte. So at the end of the day, you have to think, what is it that customers expect from you in the consumer experience? How can you apply that in the B2B experience? And more importantly, you're now having experiences with things, not even people. Alexa sometimes laughs at me in my house. I'm a little concerned about that. But randomly, I'll hear this laugh and know it's her, and I'm like, whatever. Who knows what she's listening to? Something somebody said somewhere was funny. But those experiences with friends may be experiences with bots and AI. There's actually a stat that out of Gartner that says that soon, by 2020, I think, we will have more conversations with artificial intelligence than we will with our spouses. Some of you are going, whew, thank goodness, no. Maybe not. But unfortunately, customers are getting the exact experience you've either intended or unintentionally delivered to them. So I'll give you an example. I was calling because I was traveling down under to Sydney and New Zealand, and I was going to stay in 5 hotels over the course of 2 weeks. And so the team down there gave me all my reservation numbers, but they didn't have my loyalty number. So I call into the brand, and I am a platinum stayer, so I have a dedicated phone number. So I call in, they go, hello, Ms. Bova, we know that it's you by my cell phone. They route me right to the right person. A wonderful, customer service representative gets on the phone. Hello, Ms. Bova, how can I help you? I said, oh, I've got these 5 record locators. I need to add my loyalty number. Great. Please give them to me. Give me the first one. I said, sure. A, B, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I'm sorry, Ms. Bova. We can't actually do that, because I'm guessing that's an international record locator. I go, it is. I'm sorry, you're going to have to hang up and call the hotels yourself. How's that for an experience? Platinum, lifetime value, 1,000,000 points. Hang up the phone and please call. What? I didn't even know what to say. I'm guessing that customer service representative, who was lovely, did not wake up that morning and go, I'm just going to piss off all the platinum customers. I'm guessing that's not what happened. So what happened? Somebody made a decision somewhere that either, one, they didn't allow the field in their Salesforce system, which was really painful. I'm like, oh, I had to call the rep. But if you have to add a letter, can go in there. So 1, it was a process issue. 2, maybe he couldn't stay on the phone that long. 3, maybe he couldn't dial internationally. Whatever the reason, someone made a decision that resulted in me, as a high-value, long lifetime value customer, to have a terrible experience. So that's what I mean by unintentional and intentional. The decisions that you make somewhere else, to me, are like this master class in Undercover Boss. Because that show is like, did you not know that was going on? I don't know. There's some technology that can help you. But it's all about the decisions that we make. And as I said, this is because we as customers are far more disruptive. I actually expected the person on the other end of the phone to be able to handle that changing of those 5 hotels to add my loyalty number. I expect it. And when they can't do it, I'm totally confused as why they can't do it. So it has to be that we as customers, in this expectation, we now carry these experiences with us. And so you have to start to pivot. You have to start to think differently about the things that you're going to be doing around customer experience, making decisions. Really great example of what Jeff Bezos does is he will have team meetings, management meetings in the room. There's only as many chairs as there are people in the room, except 1 extra chair at the head of the table. Who is that empty chair for? The customer. So in every meeting, he defaults to this imaginary person. So every decision says, is it in the best interest of the customer? And if you do it from a, I think we should, you're dead in the water. It better be something that is pivoting. So it is all around this customer experience. We have to think, what is the reality of what's going on? How can we be better every time our customer wants to engage with us? Next, thinking about analytics. The fact that, really, at some point, airlines, Uber, my cell phone, and Starbucks probably knows where I am more than anybody else in the world at any given moment. But nobody does anything with that data to improve my travel experience. It'll get there. They have the data. It's when will they start to use it? Now, of course, in the creepy factor, I don't want them, being, strange with my travel patterns. But ultimately, I would want a better experience from them. So using those analytics to do it. Reimagining partnerships. thinking about working with someone who might be today a competitor a little bit, but will it serve the customer better? That Amazon, Ford, Starbucks example, where collectively they're delivering this empowering, differentiated experience. More so than a $50,000 car, a $20,000 car is going to give you a more connected experience. They're competing there. By the way, for the millennial generation, who expects that kind of experience when they engage with a brand? But many are struggling to respond. Many are struggling to respond. And this is why I think it is. We are trapped in the way we've been organized for decades. So, in full disclosure, I call myself a recovering seller. So, what I'm about to say, how many of you in the audience are marketers? I apologize up front. Salespeople, yeah, not so much about marketing. Marketers, not so much about salespeople. You know, marketers give us crappy leads, salespeople, we don't follow up, that whole thing. That whole thing. We have to find a way to get past it. But the third rail of this power struggle now is customer service. I actually believe the connection between sales, service, and marketing is the holy grail of growth going forward. Because a customer is going to work through their journey through marketing, then through sales, then to customer service. And if those three are not connected, like the example I gave about the hotel chain, they might have even marketed to me saying, now you get double points with your international travel. I'm like, fantastic. So I call in, and then I can't do it on the call center. I've got to call the hotel. That's a disconnection. Or a customer who buys apples and oranges is more likely to buy pineapples. So marketing kicks off a campaign into customer service. But customer service's metric is you can only be on the phone for 3 minutes and then hang up the phone. So you got 10 seconds left. I'm a customer who has apples and oranges. I'm ready for the pineapples. Customer service rep, what are they going to do? Are they going to sell me the pineapple? They got 10 seconds left. 10, 9, 8, 7. Are they going to hang up or are they going to sell me the pineapple? They're going to hang up. And I'll give you proof. I was on the phone with a telco a couple weeks ago. That's why I can't use brand names because this stuff gets filmed. But I was on the phone with a telco, and it was an hour and 45-minute call. The guy was wonderful. But every 29 minutes, he had to hang up and call me back. Once again, I'm not going to wake up and piss off my customers. It's not what he said. You know why? His metric was 30 minutes. So he didn't want to get in trouble. I didn't want him to get in trouble. So, of course, in the last 2 minutes of our call, that, of course, is recorded, I said, hey, Mr. Manager. Hello. Tap, 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 tap. You got to let this guy stay on the phone. That's what I mean by these silos and collaboration. You've got to pull it together. These disconnections are hurting your organization, but ultimately, they're hurting the customer. It's not intentional. So all the technology in the world will not fix the problem around people and process. It will enable you to be better, but the Achilles heel in everything I've just said is people and process. So how to do this? How to build this modern growth company? You got to reset your thinking. You have to reimagine what you can do. People first. Your customers will only be as happy as your employees. Full stop. If you don't treat your customer service reps well, guess what happens? They don't treat your customers well. So you have to make sure that you put the people first. Second, technology enables, it doesn't fix. People process is critical to getting this right. Yes, Salesforce will help you, but I can't tell you how many customers I've walked in front of and they'll go, nobody's logging in, it's your fault. Oh, okay. All right, let's figure this out. I'm guessing that we're not standing there holding their hands. We got to get them to log in. Culture and innovation are the winning combination. Salesforce is the #1 company to work for in the world, according to Fortune. The most innovative company in the world, according to Forbes. There's no mistaking that this is a powerful combination when you get those things right. So we, as this collective ecosystem, we've got to develop this beginner's mindset. Don't forget what you know, just use it differently with all the information you're gathering through analytics and machine learning. Put the customer first, put your people first, make those decisions in those lenses. At the end of the day, you've got the right technology in working with Medallia. For those of you who are Salesforce customers, the combination is really powerful, but at the end of the day, you have to make sure you make these decisions for the customer. They have to be your true north. And I promise you, if you start to make this turn, that you'll see the results day after day as your customers talk much more positively about you. So with that, I thank you for your time, and off to the next speaker. Thank you.